Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to your Friday edition of the Trader Merlin Show. Had a little bit of a scare a second ago. It said no streaming available today. I went, what? No streaming available? Lo and behold, here we are. It's the 18th of August. A little bit of a pain point for many of you in this market. We'll talk about that as we go forward. And I follow this guy on Instagram who does some really cool stuff with animations, graphics within PowerPoint. And I thought, you know what? Check this out. I don't know what you guys think of this. It was kind of a cool little feature. But this is the logo for today. But he showed me something pretty cool. I can do this. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. I think many people are feeling this way after this trading week. Now, it wasn't like we were down 5, 6, 7% unless you're trading Bitcoin. But nonetheless, there was still a lot of pain point in this marketplace, and we will discuss that today as we progress. So I will start with a little cheers and happy Friday. Thank you for the Eagle Rare, a delicious Kentucky bourbon, which is the drink of choice today. So thank you, Stephanie and Jimmy, excuse me. You had a great week. Yeah, you're in those like crazy leveraged ETFs. I saw you were in a quadruple. Were you in a quadruple short crypto out there, Brian? A little too crazy for my blood, especially when these things are moving that quickly. But what I want to do to start, since I didn't really get any questions from you, which is interesting. Normally I get a lot of questions. Today I'm going to run through, because it was options expiration. As you guys know, I had a lot of different positions. Oh man, thank you, Joachim. Very much appreciate that. Cheers to you. I hope you had a great week as well, and thank you for always contributing. I do appreciate that. Uh-oh. But now, Shy going off with Foxy Lady, huh? All right, so I had probably about 15 different put positions open, short puts. So I sold those puts, and a lot of them expired worthless, but I wanted to run you through the few that I actually did have for... that were exercised. So I had 1, 2, 3, 4 positions out of my roughly 15 that were put to me today. So as I like to be transparent and show that I am a real trader, not a con man like my friend from Chicago, I say that in jest. Let's run through. So Fortinet was one of the ones that we've been talking about last week. I had sold multiple puts on Fortinet. I had sold the 55s, which of course expired worthless. We closed today at 57.16. Currently at 58 in the after-hour session, which is music to my ears because I sold one of the 55s. I sold 5, which isn't a lot, just, if you collect a few $100 for the premium. But I sold 5 of the 58s. And as you can see right now, we're sitting at 58 on the dot. On those 5 puts that I sold, I collected $1.05 worth of premium, which actually makes my average price $56.95. Now, here is the deal. I am ecstatic that I received these shares. I love it because what I think has happened, and we'll talk about this when we look at the overall market today, I think we're a little bit oversold. If you look at the S&P, if you look at the NASDAQ, we have a hammer formation after an aggressive downtrend. I'll check volume in a second. But that leads me to believe that we might have a little bit of a relief rally on Monday. And if I'm long some of these things, great. So my average price is, well, I was put these shares at $58, but my average price, once you take out the premium I collected, is $56.95. Well, you notice right now it's at 58. So in a perfect world, what will happen tomorrow is it starts to rally, or not tomorrow, on Monday, is we get a gap up, Fortinet rallies, and let's say it jumps up to like 60. Well, I might just sell the $60 calls at the money and collect a ton of premium. If it does continue to rally, fine, but I will have made a lot more than my initial investment, plus the 1% that I made for the 2 weeks that I was holding it. Actually, about a week and a half I was holding it. So all in all, even though I was put these shares, I'm totally fine with that, especially looking at what is happening in the after-hours session. Again, up 1.48% in the after-hours. We'll have to wait to see what happens when we get through to Monday's session. But that was the first one that was put to me. Now, the one that's probably going to cause me the most pain right now is Tesla. So TSLA. So I wasn't sure how many I'd sold. I only sold 2 of these, so not that big of a deal. But, 200 shares is $40,000 worth of Tesla stock that will be in my account starting Monday morning. Now, the challenge with this one was, let me put the number on here for you because it was 227.5 was the strike price that I had sold. And I didn't think we'd get there, but lo and behold, the last 3 days, we ripped down below it. And you guys can see why I chose this one, right? I chose the Tesla 227 strikes because I thought we had this area of demand over here which caused this last big gap up and rally, and therefore that was my target. I'd be happy to buy there. I still am happy owning Tesla long term, but right now I'm in a little bit of pain. Why? Well, on that Tesla trade, I sold at 227.5 puts. I collected $1.25, which makes my average price $226.25. And you'll notice that right now we are significantly below that level. We are now down at in after hour session $216.35, which means I'm down about $10 per share of this. I will have 200 in my account starting Monday morning, which means as of right now I'm down overall $2,000 on this Tesla trade. So we'll have to do damage control Monday, see how we fare with that one. But that's probably the worst one that I'm in right now. That makes me the most nervous, but I'm not really nervous. It is what it is. I was happy owning it $227.50. Let it be. The other two that I were both silver. So I actually had about 5 different put positions on silver that I had sold. 3 of them expired worthless. 2 of those came through where I am now going to be put silver. So I had sold silver way back in here, probably right after the July rollover, and sold those for the August expiration. I sold the 2150s, collected 30 cents for the premium, which makes my average price $21.20. So I'm right there on this one, and that was 10 of those, which is only 1,000 shares of silver, but still. The fact we're down, I'm down 40 cents, it means I'm down another $400 on that trade. And the last one I had was SLV. I sold the $21 puts, and I collected 22 cents, which makes my average price right where we are right now. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you since I've been talking about some of these put trades I've been in. I will be owner of Fortinet, Tesla, and another 2,000 shares of silver to go with my already pretty big stockpile of SLV. Obviously, what's happened over the past month or so has not been great for the long-term portfolio, but I'm okay with that. I'm still holding silver, and as of Monday, I will have 2,000 more shares in my account. And most likely, I'll be selling calls against that. So some of you might be wondering, well, what am I going to do with that? Well, I know that my highest strike price I've got it out here is $21.50. So I'll look and see what the premiums are selling the September strikes for $21.50. If I can get a decent amount of premium for that, I'll probably sell the $21.50s, but we'll wait and see what happens on Monday morning. There you go. My trades are out of the way. There was no real day trades for me today. Been a little bit too busy working on other stuff, so there you go. Shinobi says, I just brought up Tesla on TradingView and an image of Elon smoking a joint. Yeah, isn't that funny? It's funny when you do that, or if you do Shiba Inu. I think it's Shiba Inu also does one. I don't know why they're putting that little cartoon in there. Honestly, I think it's great. Breaks up the monotony of looking at charts a little bit. But I've only seen it here. I'll click on Shiba. Huh. It didn't do it on Shiba. Maybe it's Dogecoin. I forget. One of these has a dog that comes out from the side of the screen. Huh. Maybe it already knows it ran it. Let's see. TSLA. Yeah, I'm not sure. It did it on, I thought it was Shiba Inu and on Tesla. Maybe we can have a session on how to do damage control and your Tesla as an example. Sure. I mean, I'm going to be transparent with you guys and tell you this is what I'm doing with it. That's, and I can walk through the basics of how I'm going to manage that specific trade. So sure. Hey, Big Ev, happy Friday. You're late. Cheers. He always wants the show to go an hour and you show up late. What's going on, Big Ev? Slacking on a Friday afternoon in sunny California. Getting ready for that hurricane, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw the alert, but apparently hurricane coming through California. Hurricane Hillary. Funny, I was at trivia last night, and one of the team names was Hillary's going to get us all wet. Thought that was a pretty damn funny trivia team name. So cheers to Hillary, cheers to Big Eb, and cheers to the rest of you for coming and joining us on a Friday. Ted, Tesla did have it this morning. Well, I don't know what that means. Future trader. All right, so let me walk through broader markets. Let's talk about things that happened out there today, what we were looking at, what would be noteworthy. So you guys may have seen, last night I was just kind of thinking, what article do I want to write for bar chart? And I wrote an article for bar chart, although it's weird, I can't find it. I'm wondering whether they may have censored it, may have taken it out. It was all about Hawaiian Electric and saying, down 63% in the last 4 trading sessions is Hawaiian Electric a buy. So let me see if I can find that for you. I'm not sure why it's not showing up under my name as an author. I was nervous because I thought it might be too sensitive. One of those I could see somebody getting angry at me for even talking about buying or selling Hawaiian Electric because it might be deemed as insensitive. But honestly, I don't believe there was any insensitiveness. Obviously, my thoughts go out to everybody that's impacted by this tragedy that happened. Bottom line is, Hawaiian Electric is still trading. Right, there's still potentially, I say potentially, opportunities there, but let me see if it posted it yet. Oh, good. It actually did write it. So let me copy and paste this one over to you guys if you would like it. You got an email from Barchart about my article? Well, that's kind of cool. Maybe they're promoting it. Anyway, I put it in the chat for you guys. If you're interested, check it out. I think this one's interesting because what I did is when you look at something that's down as much as Hawaiian Energy, you know, your gut would tell you, dude, this thing's going to bounce back. It provides 95% of the electricity to Hawaii. It's not going to disappear. It won't be going away. It's just going to change its structure. So my argument in this article is let's go back and look at case studies that have happened before. And one of those is PCG, right? Pacific Gas and Electric. And if you look back here, you know, this was the Tubbs fire, which I'm from Northern California, so I remember this one vividly, living through that one, right? This is the Tubbs fire, and you think, oh, it's a great discount. Fell from, you know, $69 all the way to 37. Great, big buy. Well, it didn't. It just kept on going down, rallied a little bit, and then just kept on falling. So I tried to use that as a parallel to come up with a hypothesis on what could happen with Hawaiian Electric, and I will leave it to you there. You guys can check that article out. You know, it's tough for me to write. I'm not a big writer. I don't like writing articles. I'd rather just free-form talk and go. And I've been told I should just record my conversations and make articles out of that. But anyway, Hawaiian Electric was the article of the week that I wrote for barchart.com. Enjoy. A bit like Bear Stearns, where people thought they were buying the bottom, Shinobi. Is that what you're saying? Like, yeah, oh, it's a value play. And I always love bringing this up because so many people, when they see something down 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, your brain instantly, and I'm guilty of this too, your brain instantly goes, that's a deal. This thing was, you know, $100 a week ago, and now it's trading at $15. Dude, it's going to go back to 100. I'll be rich. But there's fundamental reasons why these things are down so much. And yeah, it's a psychological head game. And as most of you know at this point, trading is 95% psychology, how you deal with your emotions. You know, why do stores print sales that say 50% off today, everything 50% off? Well, what you don't realize is they jacked up the prices, so when they cut it in half, they're still making money, but you feel like you got a great deal. Psychology. Gotta love it. Merlin, are you tracking Hillary and not Clinton? No, I'm not. I'm not worried about it. I really don't think I need to board up my windows, although maybe I'll be the stupid one come Monday morning when the hurricane, you know, apparently blasts us. But it's looking at what Sunday night we should get hit here in California, but I'm not right on the water, so I'm not that concerned. I'm a little bit more inland. I'll let you know Monday. First time I've actually heard about them saying a warning like that. Solana at $50 is another example of now it is at 20, right? You know, and I bought more at 13. So, you know, we have to weigh when you're looking at anything at a discount, like Hawaiian Energy, like Solana, you name it. When you're looking at anything that's on a massive sale, you got to evaluate what's the probability of that thing going under. What's the probability of it going to zero? You know, we were joking about Tupperware. I think Michael was asking about Tupperware. You know, I'm looking at this price chart. I think Tupperware is going to zero. And, you know, and Michael, who may be laughing at me because maybe he bought this thing at 64 cents and it rallied up to $5 or $6 and he made a bunch of money. Now I think you're going to come back to 5 or 6 cents. I mean, this thing most likely will go into bankruptcy. It just seems highly plausible to me, especially when you look at the earnings track record. Their earnings are real poor. They make a product you can copy just about anywhere. You know, we've beaten this one to death just talking about Tupperware. But I think anytime you look at something that's downtrodden and out of favor, while it may present a buying opportunity like the financial stocks did in 2008, I mean, those were great buy points in hindsight, right? But did we really think that Bank of America and Wells Fargo and Citibank were all going to go bankrupt and just disappear? They're too critical to our infrastructure. They wouldn't let it happen. Now, the difference here with Hawaiian Energy is they'll probably do the same thing that PG&E did. They're going to have billions of dollars worth of lawsuits coming at them from the people out there in Hawaii, and they'll probably go into Chapter 11, do a restructuring, and wipe away a bunch of those litigation debts. Unfortunately, that's just the nature of the beast here. So, what did Jeremy say? Is Bitcoin a deal right now? Technically, sure. You know, it's down a few percentage points. But what does the long-term picture tell you? So, you know, we've been looking at Bitcoin quite a bit on this channel. And let me bring up BTC here. Got them backwards. Right now, there's some stuff happening behind the scenes. Let me talk about what's going on in crypto right now, just to clue everybody in that may not be as entrenched in crypto as I or some of the other ones are. There's a lot of rumors swirling right now that Binance, which is the largest exchange out there, has a massive loan that is collateralized by their token BNB. Sounds very similar to what happened with Three Arrows Capital, with Celsius, Voyager, BlockFi, and also with FTX. So the feeling is that if BNB token gets below a certain strike price, that's going to liquidate Binance. And there's all sorts of rumors swirling right now that this is an orchestrated event by the U.S. government, because the Marshal Department of the United States apparently has tens of thousands of Bitcoin. So they're selling those. Apparently, they're selling those in the open market, pushing the price of Bitcoin down to crash crypto so that BNB falls below $212, which is that strike price for the liquidation point for BNB. So apparently, what's happening, and I'm reading all this and trying to fact check it and verify on the blockchain, but Binance is actually selling their Bitcoin holdings on the open market, converting that to TUSD, which is true USD stablecoin, and they're buying more BNB coins to hold that price above 212 to prevent liquidation. So it's all just this giant conspiracy thing that's going on. Who knows how true all of that is, but it's plausible. You know, the government has been going after crypto, and what a perfect way to crash the largest crypto exchange in the world would be to take down Binance. And if they continue to sell Bitcoin, if this fact isn't true, if they think that selling all this Marshall's Bitcoin pushes BTC down, that forces CZ of Binance to sell their Bitcoin or crypto holdings to buy more BNB. Well, who knows how this will all pan out. One thing I don't like about crypto is it is overly transparent. So Shinobi says, is it 212? I thought it was 220. Yeah, so apparently he actually added more money into the account, and it's lowered the average from 220 down to 212. So here's where it stands. Here's BNB. You're at 216 right now. So just kind of putting it out there. You know, this is one of those, it's an ominous moment for BNB. You know, if this is in fact true and BNB token gets below 212, they could be automatically liquidated of their BNB holdings, and all of a sudden everything collapses, which is why I think people are kind of panicking in the crypto space right now. Now, how do we get on this conversation? We got on this conversation because a gentleman back here by the name of Jeremy says, is BTC a deal right now? Well, look, it all to me depends on what your time frame is. You know, could Bitcoin go lower? Absolutely. You know, you look at this trend. We've now broken this nice uptrend we've had since December of last year. Keep in mind, Bitcoin's up over 100% on the year, so that's pretty damn, or was up over 100% of the year. Pretty damn good. You know, now it's a question of, are you a trader or are you an investor? With crypto, I'm an investor. So I'd be looking at areas down here, maybe around the 25,000 mark as a potential buy point. You've got some more pivot points back here around 20,000. I think you have to look at what your time horizon is. And I'm a hodler without question. I am not nervous. I'm not scared. I haven't freaked out. I haven't looked at this, but oh my God, my account. I don't care, right? My Bitcoin is going to stay there regardless of what happens. Again, nothing will change my portfolio allocation to Bitcoin until 2025. That's when it will change. And Joachim, thank you for the correction yesterday. I messed up in my presentation for OTA. I said 2024. 2025 is when I will be selling all of my crypto, every single piece of it, because of that 4-year cycle in crypto. That said, Jeremy, I think that if you have a long-term perspective and you have risk capital, money you can afford to tie up for a while and just leave it there, then sure, I think Bitcoin is probably going to do okay for the next year and a half. I think in getting into December of 2025, November, that's when things start to fall apart for crypto again, just based off historical cycles. Thank you, Thomasina. I appreciate that. It was tough. It's funny. I knew the presentation was supposed to be an hour, and we were supposed to end at 5, and for some reason I thought 5:30, so I just kept on going and going and going. So got a little value added there yesterday for you. Hope you enjoyed that one. Exactly, Shinobi. Steady, lads. Diamond hands. You know, based off the presentation that I gave, I'm hoping it conveys the point that I am buying in for the long haul because I see the major changes to the financial system. You have so many people who are fed up with our fiat system, our scam currency. I don't know if you guys saw that. There's a music video that's going viral on TikTok. Some, country boy just sitting out in the middle of a ranch with his 2 dogs singing a song about democracy in America and why our money is trash and why it all goes to the men north of Richmond, the rich men north of Richmond. It's actually a really good song. It was really, really a good song. Got a little repetitive at times, but it drive home the point that I think the vast majority of Americans are fed up with this system. We're fed up with, fiat currency printing. We're fed up with politicians and lying and cheating and just the games that go on. And maybe there'll be some sort of revolt that goes on in America, but I don't know. But any interesting song, and now a lot of people are bringing that discussion of why fiat currency is worthless, why the U.S. dollar is, really backed by nothing other than the full fight. They say that the U.S. dollar is backed by full faith of the U.S. government. No, it's not. It's not. The U.S. dollar is backed by the might of the U.S. military. That's really what it's backed by. If we didn't have a military, we could revolt against our government, no problem, overtake it, overthrow it, have a coup. America would be a different place. The military keeps us in line. So if you and I rise up too much and start creating too much of a stink, martial law, military rolls the streets, and, not a pretty picture. Maybe you can share that silly Superman and crypto joke from yesterday. No, I'm not sharing that silly joke, Mike. Okay, fine. But see, people in here were in that presentation. They know. Why doesn't Superman have any Bitcoin? Why won't he hold any Bitcoin? Because he's allergic to kryptonite, but something like that. Kind of silly. I thought it was cheesy. When did I buy my first Bitcoin? 2012. And I know nothing. I knew nothing, Shinobi. I bought one as just kind of a fluke. Someone asked me about it, and I was like, oh yeah, let me check it out. It was $250 or $240. I bought one. In hindsight, I wish I would have bought 10 grand worth, right? I really started loading the boat in 2017. And that all changed because of research. I was just doing so much research on Bitcoin. It was just a revelation. I was like, wow, this is what we need. We need an honest, fair, transparent, non-manipulated money system. But, our economy, the liberties and freedoms and a lot of things that you and I enjoy are created because of fake money, because of fiat money. We look at all the spending, the deficits that we do. A lot of that is roads and infrastructure and parks and all this stuff. So keep in mind, if we do away with fiat currency, a lot of that's going to disappear as well. Took advantage of the crypto session yesterday and picked up 12 different assets. Nice, Joe. I would say definitely don't go all in. Do not go all in at this point because you could have a deeper pullback. Again, if Binance goes under, if there's an issue with Binance and they actually trigger that collateralization point and trigger his stops, basically force him out, you could see a chart that looks like this on Bitcoin. And I don't want to freak anybody out, but you could see something that looks like this. It could go down extremely quickly. And that's because there could be massive forced liquidations on the part of Binance, but hopefully CZ is smart enough to have put himself in a position where that won't happen. So I don't think that this is going to happen, but is it a possibility? We have the spectrum of probability. I would say it is possible that within a few days you could have Bitcoin sitting at $15,000, but that would require a systemic failure of Binance, which I don't believe will happen. Okay, just throwing it out there. Why are you against Keith Richard? Why are you against day trading your crypto accounts? Or maybe I misheard you. Do you day trade a portion of your Bitcoin account and then your crypto account? So I'm not against anybody day trading. I think from a day trading perspective, you actually have a lot of opportunity shorting or day trading crypto. Why? Because you get great leverage. I mean, if you go to some of these international exchanges, again, you'd have to use a non-custodial wallet like MetaMask or Trust Wallet, and you'd have to go through an international site, probably using a VPN. Once you get there, you can get 100-to-1 leverage on crypto. I mean, can you imagine the crazy stuff that's happening today with 100-to-1 leverage? Nuts. It'd be mind-boggling how much that could destroy your account or make you in a day. So I'm not against it. It's just I have a lot of other things. My main focus in my trading world is not my crypto accounts, right, Keith? That is, for me, buy and hold, and I'll just let that go. My active trading is shorter term, right? That's doing a little bit of futures, doing some options, doing some equities. I don't really do spot Forex anymore, but those are the markets I spend most of my time when I'm trading, focusing on. Bitcoin and crypto is just a long-term play because I believe I'm holding companies that are going to be a major part of the digital financial revolution, which is currently underway. Let's see. What do you say? What do you think about Kevin O'Leary being involved in FTX? What do you think about Kevin O'Leary overall? I think he's a slime ball. I don't trust that guy. I'm not a big fan of Kevin O'Leary at all. I think he's a very self-interested, greedy capitalist, but that's how a lot of people get really rich. I think there should be a little air of humanitarianism on his part, and there isn't. He'd stomp on his own mother to make a buck. So I'm not a big fan of his. He thinks that Sam Bankman-Fried should be released, and he's totally innocent. Like, no, bud, you were part of that con job. If it does get to 15,000, I'm buying a lot more. I'd agree with you, Joe. If it gets to 15, I would certainly look at that as a buying opportunity. And this was all spurred because of the initial question saying, is Bitcoin a buy right now? And it's all subjective. If you feel confident in the long haul, then Bitcoin is a buy. To buy at any price. It's a dollar cost average vehicle, right? If you are skeptical, then stay out, right? Wait for it to drop lower. If it doesn't, well, worst case is you miss the boat and you don't hold Bitcoin as maybe it rallies even more. If we get regulation and heavy-handed government and crypto continues to fall and Binance goes down and the SEC makes crypto illegal in the U.S., well, then you're safer because you didn't own any Bitcoin to begin with, or crypto to begin with. So my take is long haul, we're going to see this adopted. That was the gist of my presentation. It's just an evolution of financial markets. It's an evolution of money. And we've seen everything else in our lives become more and more digitized. Pretty soon, our cars will be fully digitized. We might even not have a car, be like Wonder Woman, a transparent thing we just float around in. Yeah, right. Mr. Wonderful. Yeah. Anybody calls themselves Mr. Wonderful or the greatest or the king, LeBron James, probably not the best, probably not the most wonderful, probably not the king. All right. So, great question. Keep it coming. We got a good discussion going on here today. I still got quite a bit of cash in the sideline. Good. One of the things I presented yesterday, I know some of you might have missed that presentation. I'm not sure how you get to view it. If you didn't get there, it's at the Online Trading Academy website, but I'm not sure whether that's going to be behind a registration wall or not. And one of the things I emphasized there is about portfolio construction and how you build out your portfolio of crypto to spread around the risk. And granted, everything's falling today. If you look at the numbers here, just about everything is falling, except some of the shit coins are actually rallying, which is funny. But we're actually bouncing back a little bit here today. So you're getting some numbers that look good. If I would have looked at this yesterday, it was all red. It was red across the board. Oh, wow, 0x up 20% today. Larry's liking that one. I think Larry actually owns some 0x. But it's about how do we diversify that portfolio. And I make the point that, you have to break this apart into different segments and identify within those segments who are the leaders, who has the most potential, and you start to build your portfolio that way. So I'm in it for the long haul. I don't even think about it. It's really weird to think of if my account balance, like how much it's dropped in the last 72 hours, would probably make some of you sick. Probably just be like, I just want to go vomit somewhere. Well, I didn't even think about it. I don't even care because that money, again, everything that's in those crypto accounts, I've partitioned in my brain that it's not there. I don't even have it anymore. It is what it is. Just let it be. Don't micromanage it. Don't overtrade it. If my belief is this is going to go up in the next decade and substantially in the next decade, then just leave it alone. Because if I made that same sort of babysitting approach with Amazon, I've mentioned this with you guys the other day, here's Amazon on a monthly chart. There's no way if I was doing that babysitting that I would have kept Amazon the entire time all the way up from, what is it, if we dollar cost average here or split adjusted, it was like, 23 cents. I would not have held that to $180. I just wouldn't have done it. So I think that this is my brain. I've had to reprogram. I've literally had to rewire the way that part of my brain thinks and say, leave it alone. Just forget about it. Your analysis is right. Your portfolio is right. It's just a matter of time before we get acceptance. Don't look at it every day like retirement accounts. I do look at it every day. I like to keep track of what the portfolio balance is. So I'm not going to lie. I have an app that I look at and you're like, oh, wow. Good day today or bad day today. Like the last couple of days, like, wow, bad day. And it doesn't matter because I'm not going to sell it. I'm going to keep holding that again until 2025. I'll sell it everything for 1 year. I'll buy back in 2026. And then that way the piece that I think takes me over the edge all the way to 2030. Let's see. What else do I got? Mr. Wonderful. And so Shinobi, you're right. McHenry, Emmer, and a few others, Hildebrand and Senator Loomis, they are going after the SEC. Not only are they going after the SEC, because I do agree with them. I think what the SEC is doing is absolute BS. I mean, how do you give no clarity to people that are asking for financial clarity? That's literally your job. But what they're doing is they're actually creating awareness of digital asset importance. They're tying it not to a fad, but saying this is job creation. This is innovation. It's technology we should be embracing because it makes things faster, more transparent, more efficient, and also gives power back to the people a little bit, which is they're the ones that voted for us and they want crypto. Let them have it. Let's just put some rules around it. So I'm pretty excited about it, especially those names you mentioned. McHenry, Emmer, Hildebrandt, and Loomis are the real four. And you also have 4 presidential candidates right now that have said, if I'm elected, Bitcoin is totally legal. And I may even try to back if you look at RFK, he's saying he might actually try to back the US dollar with Bitcoin. Now that would be interesting. Now, again, I'm not going to make my presidential choice just on digital assets. There's a whole slew of other issues that are important to me, as I am sure there's issues that are important to you, but it certainly is one of those that's important to me. Merlin, do you ever farm tokens like flipping ETH to Bitcoin and vice versa based on the charts? No, I don't. Most of the stuff, I don't really flip. I did a bunch of that a while back when I would just kind of roll into whatever I thought was moving. But the reality is I think most of it pretty much moves up in tandem. Right? Very rarely do you get a huge disparity between one market and another where they're totally way off. So the way I'm doing it, Brian, is I look at ones that I like, and as they progress, if they start to slow down, like for example, Polkadot. 2 years ago, loved Polkadot. Thought it was fantastic. I love what they were doing. I haven't seen any marketing. I haven't seen any development updates. I have seen it almost nothing go on with Polkadot. So am I going to buy any more? Not a chance. Nope. But I see Cosmos, which has been beaten down dramatically. Or let's just do Avalanche, for example. Avalanche is pushing. Their developers are out there, and all of a sudden they inked a deal with Amazon. And they're trying to ink deals with other major corporations to use the Avalanche blockchain as the backbone for their data structure. That is adoption. So that would mean I'm adding more to my Avalanche portfolio. I looked at what Solana was doing, and I saw Solana making some changes, bringing in more developers. And I thought, you know what? Good. They reset themselves after the big crash, and all of a sudden starting to build. So I bought some more Solana. So I will always add to ones I think are great and going to do better or improving the protocol. And that's how I build it. I don't really swap. I just kind of hold them and move in. It's still around. Yeah. Yep, good. So I like Atom right now more than Polkadot, although the yield on both of them is pretty good. I think you can stake and get 20% on Atom, and you can get about 14% on Polkadot. So I'm earning 14% on my Polkadot. All right, we'll go off of crypto. I know some of you are like waving the flag on surrender. No more crypto. We're done with it. Let's talk about markets. Let's do it. All right, so here's your Bitcoin chart. Since we did talk about that, let's just look at the price for the day to see what's been going on. Huge spike down. And this is the future one. This is the futures chart, so it looks like a mess because it is a mess. It's the futures, right? It doesn't trade 24/7. So the spot price would look better. We actually came all the way down to here on a low bottoming tail into the 25,000 range. So pretty bad for Bitcoin. Again, I'm not too worried about it. Number 7 on our list was the 10-year yield. So if you notice today, we had a slightly red candle, which is interesting. I thought a red candle today, as well as a red dollar candle, would have helped these markets rally. They didn't. So you have the 10-year yield was slightly down at 0.54% slide. And then we get to our indexes. NASDAQ down 0.23%. Notice the futures here. Hallelujah. I need to get some sound effects. Hallelujah. Because this is a hammer formation, not quite into an area of demand, right? It didn't quite fill this gap, which I would love to see it do. If this hammer right here was down into this yellow box, I'd really be excited about Monday's prospects for a rally. That said, it's still a hammer formation. So if you're not in the market and you're sitting in the sidelines, I'd be looking at, this level right above the high of the day, which is on the Qs, 14,800, right? If we open up below that and rally above it, I think you're going to have a nice rally in the equity markets on Monday. And we'll have to, again, wait for confirmation. Don't just buy blindly thinking it's going to go up. It has to prove itself first. But we have a hammer formation on the NASDAQ 100, which is great. At one point, we were a pretty big red candle, came back and finished just down 0.23%. Not bad considering where we were. At one point during the trading day, I'll go from the close of yesterday. At one point, we were down. Why are you not in snap mode? Let's go snap mode. We're down 1.1%. So we rallied back up almost a full percent off the bottom. Love that. Nice sign that the bulls came back at the last minute, pushed it up, looking pretty powerful. Unfortunately, it's Friday, so we'll have to see what transpires on Sunday night into Monday's session. S&P with a similar picture, right? A little bit of a green candle here, even though it's down 0.04%. It rallied back off of its losses. It actually did breach that demand zone. So technically, we could take this yellow box out because it broke through it. If there was demand there and buyers were theoretically holding up price, they are no longer. They just went ripped through. So I like this picture as well. It's not as convincing to me as the NASDAQ, but still I do think that there is a potential here for a nice rally come Monday morning for our markets. All right, fourth place, dollar index. Now you notice we also have, it's not quite a shooting star, right? It's more of a spinning top, but you have a longer topping tail than bottoming tail on the US dollar today. That's a sign of weakness. Even though you have a little green body, they're calling it unchanged on the day. But at some point, we'd broken above supply, which I thought would take us higher, and it came right back down. So this actually does bode well for the argument of a bullish equity market on Monday. All right, now the one that's been killing me, gold. For you gold bugs out there, now might be a pretty decent time to look at acquiring some gold. You've sold off from over 2,000, and now we're racing towards that 1,900 mark. We're at 1916 today, which if you look at my yellow box I've drawn out here, 1917 was where I have the top of that demand zone, and we're in it. All right, so we'll see what transpires, but I'm happy that my silver is in my portfolio. I'm glad I got another 2,000 shares. Like I said, I have quite a bit of silver now in my portfolio, but I'm good with that. SLV looks like this, right? A very similar picture with SLV. I actually thought we were going to bounce even more aggressively those last 2 days, but just kind of a weird way that silver reacted on Wednesday and Thursday. Podium, gold was our bronze medal. Here is silver, crude oil. So hesitating, I thought we'd get down a little bit lower to that 78.68 line I have drawn on the screen here, but we basically with 3 days, we've kind of held that area. That's a good sign, and now slowly rallying out of it. So that, at least to me, feels like we're getting a little bit of stabilization here in crude oil, at least for the last 2 days, and maybe we'll start to challenge that $84 mark yet again next week. And lastly, the best performer out there, the Russell 2000, up 0.47%. Not really a hammer formation, but looking really strong, right? You have this beautiful little green body here, long bottoming tail into an area of demand down below. So I like all three of our indexes, the S&P, the NASDAQ, and the Russell, as potential longs on Monday morning. And what I normally don't do, I don't like to look at the Dow because it's just 30 stocks, but look at the Dow. All right, the Dow, a similar picture. Not that this is a great demand zone. Actually, really wouldn't call that much of a demand zone at all. But you've had 4 aggressive down days, right? Every day this week, except for today, the Dow was negative. Friday, long bottoming tail, small real body. Keep an eye for that move to the upside. When will they next update the components of the indices happen, or is that not a regular thing? Some of them are. They just updated the components of the NASDAQ. There is no schedule of when they are going to do the S&P, for example. It's just a periodic thing. So just kind of got to keep your ears open for when they make the changes. But yeah, NASDAQ just did a big change with their top components. Apple got cut down a little bit, so did Microsoft, and some others got bumped up. All right, and last little bit I'll look at here. So we looked at that 10-year. I want to look at the yield curve, which I do. I like to look at 2 of them. This is the one that the markets look at, which is the 10 and 2. This is starting to look much better, right? No longer are we having an aggressive descent in the separation between our short-term and long-term bonds. It's starting to close that gap a little bit. So this should be welcome news to anybody that's saying we got to get the yield curve back to normal. But most look at the 10 and the 1. That is the true definition, according to my bond expert, Bill Addis, and I agree with him. You still are looking at over a 1% difference between the 1-month bond and the 10-year. That's kind of crazy that we'd have that kind of discrepancy between those two. But it was much worse than that. So it's starting to get a little bit better. See what happens with our rate announcement coming up here in a couple weeks, and what that might, or a couple weeks, September 20th. So we got a month to go before we get out to our next rate announcement. All right, 39 after. I did not get any. So let me real quick get this question. This is from Michael. It says, what do you think of Bill Ackman announcing he is shorting long-term treasuries? Well, I don't know. I don't know what to make. I don't really trust Bill Ackman. He's had some, got a lot of publicity, a lot of press, and I think he just utilizes people to, I guess, be on the other side of his trade. So is he shorting the actual futures products, or is he shorting the bonds? I mean, it's not clear. Is he shorting the price of them, or is he shorting the yield of them? If he's shorting the price, I would agree with him. You look at something, and this you said short term? Oh, long term. Okay. So we can go to something like TLT. And we talked about this the other day. Would you want to be long or short this security? You guys tell me, don't forget what the symbol is. Forget what it is. Just look at the chart. Would you want to be long or short this security right now? Just type it in the chat. Long or short. Should be pretty easy to figure this one out, right? Should be pretty easy. You've got lower lows, lower highs, and we're basing right now on this low, on whatever this is. Again, don't look at the ticker symbol. I'd want to be short. Ricardo says flat. Probably that's actually decent because you're right near the dead lows, right? So flat might be the best. But if you had to pick long or short, you want to be short. And Bill Ackman is saying that he's short treasuries, which in my mind means he's shorting this. And good for Ackman. I mean, I don't think we need to follow his advice. He made an announcement that he's shorting it. He didn't say when or where or how, right? But definitely, I'd want to be on the short side of this. You got to go with that trend. Now, if we're at this exact moment right now, I'd want to be very cautious because, again, you guys know how I would talk. My talk track would be, I want to be short. This looks very negative, but I'm anticipating a bounce here. I'm anticipating the price of these bonds to spike up a little bit because we're near this area of demand. Now, conveniently, when we look at the 10-year yield or the 30-year yield, I'll do the 10-year. This represents 20-plus year bonds, right? That's what TLT represents. So when we have the price of bonds falling, that means the yields are rising, and lo and behold, I'll look over here at the 30-year, and what's the 30-year at? It's at supply, right? So I would expect there to be a pullback in this yield, which means that those bonds would move up in value. So that's the inverse relationship. So great for Ackman. Again, I don't think we need him personally. I saw the comment. Thomas says, I like him like you like the guy in Chicago. Yeah, but Ackman didn't do anything personal to ruin things for you or people that you knew and cared about. He didn't create a situation that literally took food out of people's mouths and lie and cheat and steal. Bill Ackman didn't do those sorts of things, whereas somebody in Chicago did. Let's leave it at that. But yeah, I definitely have a dislike for Ackman as well. There were times in the past, I think it was Vertex Pharmaceuticals, VRTX. Let me bring that one up. He was just loading the boat and bragging about VRTX, trying to get everybody into Vertex Pharmaceuticals and lobbying, and come to find out this thing was a scam. Let's see what happened with it. Maybe, I don't know where that was. I think it might have been actually back here in 2000. I think this was the Bill Ackman pop up, and then he lost, I think, $6 billion or something like that. I think it's like $6 billion. Herbalife, another one. Is that HLF? Yeah. Wow. And again, you got to look at what does Herbalife do? Before you jump on anything, you say, what does this company do? Where are they making their money from? Why would I want to invest in something? And Herbalife was, vitamin sales, right? Am I incorrect with that one? My assumption is that Herbalife was just subscription vitamins. Well, I've got Amazon.com now. I can get whatever vitamins I want. Delivered more. I was an Herbalife distributor. Didn't enjoy that kind of work. Yeah, can't say. Am I right, Shinobi? Isn't it just kind of... Oh, that's a company tried to destroy. But Herbalife is like just vitamin sales, correct? I've never dealt with them. I remember seeing jars of Herbalife, but never really purchased anything like that. Kind of like Tupperware. You go door to door and you're selling plastic containers. Well, if you're astute, you just go to a store and find the best price and get the best Tupperware plastic containers you can get. So, and makeup too. And Amway or Avon type of situation, huh? So, Michael, again, when I see somebody out there saying, this is what I'm buying or this is what I'm selling, especially when they're big names, I just move away from them. I don't care. I don't care anymore. And I'm hoping you guys aren't becoming too jaded from watching this program for so long. But I hope you're realizing that everybody out there that has a media outlet is most likely trying to sway you or influence you. Now, I feel like I'm a little bit of a unicorn here because I'm really not selling you anything. I'm not trying to convince you to do anything. I'm just showing you broad markets, and you need to make your opinions about stuff, and I'm being open and transparent about my trades, but I haven't said, hey guys, you should all load the boat. Let's see, I'm long Fortinet, right? I'm long Fortinet. I should do a review of Fortinet and just say what the greatest company this is, and you should mortgage your home and buy Fortinet, right? I'm never going to do that, ever. I would never do it, and by the way, I would never contact you and ask you if I can manage your money. So someone got scammed. Another one of my OTA colleagues, somebody impersonated him and scammed a whole bunch of his users out of money, saying he would manage the money for him. So just remember, contact that person directly if somebody ever contacts you. And if it's on WhatsApp or any of those types of media, forget it. Forget it. Exactly, Pepe. I'm 100% with that. I was not in the military, but I thank all the military veterans and those active member duties for all that you do, giving me the freedoms that I have. But life should be trust, but verify, right? Someone says anything to you, just go double check it, triple check it before you click that button. Make sure it's right for you. Let's see. Bye. Yeah, right. Yeah, that's it, Ryan. That's it. I'm trying to guilt you into buying all the stocks that I'm in. Ugh. It's funny because when I started out, guys, I used to watch CNBC religiously. To me, that TV was where you found all the information out, right? I'm listening to Joe Kernan and Bob Pisani and what was it? Elizabeth, not Claiborne. Something, God, what was her name? The brunette. No, I can't remember her name. Anyway, I used to watch them every single day, and when they would mention a stock and how great it was, I'm sitting there buying these things. Next thing you know, they're just tanking. Or CEOs or analysts come on and they're just like, oh, well, we think you should be buying, Cisco Systems today. It's amazing. You're like, oh, great. Boom, boom. I'm day trading Cisco. Next thing you know, it just starts tanking against me. They're all using these media channels. So just, you guys heard me go on this rant before. Can I look at XRP USD? It's basically retraced all the way back to 50 cents. I'm thinking of buying. There you go. Thank you, Shinobi. Maria Bartiromo. Yeah. Had a crush on her when she was in the 90s. Chicka bow. XRP USD. Let's go look at Ripple. Why not? So here's your chart of Ripple, which looks like a really bad EKG, right? Overall, technically, it looks bad. You've had your huge spike back here in 2018, late 2017. I mean, that's when I should have sold all my Ripple when it was up at $3. But in my mind, I'm going, it's going to 10. Then sold off, had a huge spike in 2021, back up to about, almost $2. Should have sold it then. Every bump seems to get lower and lower. Here's my deal with Ripple. I personally don't think that you should buy Ripple, and here's why. Ripple right now is embroiled in this lawsuit with the SEC. It's not over, and the SEC has filed an appeal against what the judge said, so it's going to drag on and on and on. Now, Ripple has billions of dollars. They have 42% of all the tokens of Ripple in their coffers. So 42 billion of these tokens at 50 cents a piece right now means they've got about $21 billion in cash to fight this. That's a great advantage for them to, fight these legal battles. But until they finish this litigation, there will always be that looming pressure and omnipresent regulator environment above them looking at every single thing they do. They can't take chances. They can't push their business model like they want to, because businesses, if I'm a bank, let's say I run the Bank of Scotland, and someone from Ripple is coming to me saying, hey, we would love for you to use our payment system. It's faster, it's more efficient, it's much cheaper, it's better for your clients. And I'm like, it's a win-win-win for my bank. But you're locked up with the SEC, who's in bed with the Federal Reserve. And I can't cross those boundaries. I have to pick my enemies. And if I do business with Ripple, I now open myself up to maybe other regulatory agencies coming after me, because now I'm picking teams. And as a bank, I should always pick the Federal Reserve and central bank team. I should never go outside of that. And Ripple represents the outside. So I know it's I know I'm a little bit aloof with my answer. I like what Ripple's doing. I think it's fantastic. But the regulatory issue, the litigation, and the fact that other projects right now are taking that market share while Ripple is handcuffed makes me not so happy with Ripple. Now, that said, I do own Ripple. I have Ripple. I've got a bunch of Ripple, but I'm not going to be buying any more. If you're a long-term trader, and you got disposable risk capital, okay, go for it. It feels like it's bottomed around this 30-cent mark, and here we are at 50. Sure, there might be some potential there, but just don't forget there's 100 billion Ripple out there. So if it gets to $1, it's a $100 billion market cap. That's a pretty lofty one for a project that's not really implemented with much people. I propose a toast for long-term loyal viewers, us. I can do that, especially because I'm almost out and my cube is almost melted. So yeah, a cheers to all the long-term loyal viewers. I honestly had a conversation with a friend over the weekend. I was like, this group is extremely loyal. You're here 5 days a week. You're always on time. You're always giving me good input. I'm sure I've crossed the line with some of my comments sometimes. You haven't given me big hate mail, and I'm hoping we're improving your trading knowledge and journey together. So cheers to all of you. Happy Friday. And thanks, Pepe, for the suggestion. I should always, and I'm going to do another one. To all the new viewers out there, I just need to finish my whiskey. To all the new viewers, hit that subscribe button, become part of our family, and join the discussion. All right. So I think time-wise, oh my goodness, I'm already an hour. I'm going to have to wrap things up here. So let me real quickly go into what's happening for next week. Bottom line is not much happening the early part of the week. So let's go to your economic calendar, and I will bring up what's happening on Monday. And here you go. That includes, you're here, of course, always includes the Power Trading Radio crew. As you can see, guys, Monday, nothing happening with regards to earnings. It's really absolutely boring for Monday. You have core CPI for Japan, but I have to be honest, I don't quite understand how Japan doesn't have higher inflation when their Fed funds rate is at negative 0.10 and it's been there since, I think, 2015. Just kind of crazy that there's no inflation over there. I don't know. It's an economic conundrum. A case study for college as to how does Japan not have higher inflation when they're just printing money and giving negative interest rates. Just mind-boggling to me. So that's your economic calendar. If you look out at the earnings calendar, which I will bring up here in just a second, you don't have a lot cooking either. Earnings is actually pretty weak on Monday. Starts to pick up near the middle of the week. We have a Wednesday, just so you guys can prepare for that one. NVIDIA will be coming out on Wednesday. That is going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that one. You know, NVIDIA right now, the big darling AI stock that could create massive waves after the market closes on Wednesday. So here's the one that's noteworthy for Monday, Zoom. Right? So Zoom just made an announcement they want all their employees to return to work. It's like, wait a minute, you created a platform so people don't have to go to work. We can work remotely and conference in. Now they want all their employees coming back. But Zoom has been one that myself and Sam Evans and many others have been very bearish on, and rightfully so. I mean, mind you, I feel like I don't like to boast, but if you go back here, I had Sam Evans on the program. We're like, short Zoom. You're going to get competition from other companies. You have Teams and all these other ones. Short it, and man, now we're sitting at $66. Zoom has some serious problems. They need to innovate their product and create some differentiation, or they're just going to fizzle out and go away. They'll probably get bought by somebody at some point. So that is your economic calendar and earnings calendar for Monday. If you guys have comments, questions, feedback, things you want me to cover for next week, you can email me at TraderMerlin@gmail.com. Or, as always, if you're watching this recording, just put your comments down below the YouTube video. Any of the YouTube videos, I take those, put them into the slides, and I have a couple I have not gotten to. I will try to incorporate those into next week's presentation. Pepe says, joined the school in 2014, been watching this show since then. Love the trading share experience, same with the financial knowledge, macro politics. Yeah, I try to stay away from the politics. Again, I just don't want to polarize it and make you guys hate me for my view on something. So we'll just keep it as it is. All right, so that's going to do it for me, everybody. I'm sweating up here upstairs. I'm going to go downstairs where the AC is cranking. Hope you have a fantastic weekend. Thank you for all the support and all that you do. I hope you guys have a great trading week next week. Let's hope for a gap up and a little relief rally on Monday. I'll update you on what we do with my Tesla, my Fortinet, and my silver trades, which I now have some new long positions on. I'll take care, everybody. See you guys on Monday.